Hello, I'm IBX Toycat, and today I'm going to be talking about the recent difficulty update that was just added into the game with the latest update, Minecraft Xbox and Minecraft PlayStation. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, in the latest changelog, it has this line of text. The longer you remain in an area, the harder the monsters that spawn in that area will be. And you might hear that and think, so how exactly does that get more difficult? Do the monsters attack you more? Do more of them spawn? And that's what I'll be explaining in this video, because I looked it up and it's a very long piece of code that's kind of difficult to understand. I think I'd break it down and make it quite a simple piece of information that you can just kind of digest and be like, okay, I'll watch out for that. So if you like this idea for a video, it's slightly different to what I usually do, please do like the video and let me know, it'd be appreciated. So with that said, let's explain regional difficulty, which is the in-game term for this on the PC, and let's explain how this affects actual difficulty for the game. So I will say quickly now, the difficulty you set in the game, easy, medium or hard, is slightly more important than this. So if you want to make a more hard experience, then go on hard and just stay in the same chunk. If you want an easier experience, just make sure you spread out, because basically the longer you spend inside each chunk, the higher that inhabited time goes up. So every minute you spend inside a chunk increases the difficulty very slightly. It's a very minute thing, and we'll get more into what that difficulty means. But yeah, every minute any player spends inside a chunk will increase the difficulty very slightly, and if there's lots of players in one chunk, they'll all increase the difficulty by 1 minute each minute. So for instance, if there's 8 players in a chunk, it goes up by 8 minutes every minute, and it can reach a maximum of 50 hours. That's the very hardest the chunk can be. If you spend 50 hours in one chunk, a significant chunk of time, if you don't mind my pun, then that will be the hardest it can get, and all these things I'm going to explain in a second will be at their max. So yeah, make sure you spread out across different chunks if you want to decrease the amount of difficulty in each chunk. However, the longer you play the game in general, the harder things will get, not only because you're going to have to spend time in all the chunks because there isn't that many spread across, but also because the game actually takes count of how long you've been playing the game, and it adds this to like the actual difficulty of the game. It's quite a cool system, and let's explain what this actually does to the game, because you might be thinking, okay, so it gets more difficult, but what does that actually mean? So let's start with some of the effects it does. So first of all, mobs are more likely to spawn with armor on. So you've seen mobs with armor, they get more and more likely to spawn with it on. It goes from a normal value of about 0%, 1% having the very rare zombie, to at its hardest having 15% of all zombies spawning with armor on. So it's not that massive, but it is still quite a big touch, especially since they can have diamond armor on. And if they do spawn with armor on, it's more likely to have enchantments on it, as well as that their weapon, which they can spawn with normally, can also have enchantments on. Also, as the difficulty increases, the enchantment they have will increase. So, if you've just been spending a few minutes in a chunk, you might get a rare zombie with enchantment armor, but if you get one after 50 hours, it's likely to have like protection 3 or something like that, and really start to mess with you. So definitely watch out for that. On top of this, zombies in particular get a lot of buffs in regard to what the difficulty does. So first of all, they're more likely to be able to break down doors. They're more likely to be able to follow you from a greater distance, and they're also more likely to have the leader zombie, which is a zombie with extra health and also the ability to spawn in reinforcements. So if you start to attack as a leader zombie, not only will it be harder to kill, but it'll spawn in another zombie at some point nearby you, which is something you don't really want to happen. So that increases as you spend more time in the area. On top of that, even both skeletons and zombies are more likely to be able to pick up your dropped weapons and your dropped armor, which goes up significantly. Like almost 55% of zombies and skeletons can pick them up at their max value, and slimes are going to be bigger. As well as that, spiders are able to spawn with status effects. This can be simple stuff like just regeneration, but it can also be stuff like invisibility or like strength. So definitely watch out for your spiders if you spend too much time in there, because on top of having the skeletons and the zombies of armor, you're also going to have spiders which have potions on them. So that is regional difficulty in a nutshell. It increases the difficulty very subtly. It makes zombies and skeletons of armor. It makes stuff with enchanted armor, and it also means lots of small things happen in the game that make it a little bit more difficult. So how can you avoid this? Spend lots of time on different chunks. Like if don't spend all your time digging down directly down and spending in that all your time in one specific area. Try and move around a lot, and that will lower the difficulty overall. However, it's kind of just an inevitable evil. If you want, just max it out as soon as possible, and then there's nothing else to worry about. That's kind of a weird idea, because you'll have lots of armored zombies, lots of skeletons, but maybe that's what you want. Maybe you want to have the rare, gold armor drops, and you want to be able to farm them for it. I don't know what you want to do. I'm just giving the guide here. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do like the video if you did like it. Share it if you really liked it. Subscribe if you're new around here. I break down a lot of stuff that comes in updates, as well as giving the latest news and updates, tutorials in general, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.